You have tuned in to Be the Voice podcast, where we are using our voices to shatter the silence by promoting healing from past trauma, aiming for victorious living, and uplifting the work to improve our communities. It's time to be informed, encouraged, and empowered with your favorite host, Dee Marie. Well, good evening and welcome to Be the Voice podcast. You guys, we are back with season 2. Can you believe this is season 2? I am so excited, like I always am. We're just going to have a great episode tonight. But before we get started, as always, I want you to know that Be the Voice podcast is actually brought to you by Voices Magazine. And Voices Magazine is an online magazine that is tailored to the voices of sexual abuse survivors. And I'm actually the editor and creator of the magazine. And in the magazine, we feature survivors that are actually willing to share their story, and not just for sadness, but actually to uplift those other survivors who want to share their story and just let them know that they're not alone. So you guys, you can go to vocesmagazine.com and you'll be able to find each subscription, and you can just read each one, and I guarantee you will be blessed. So we are back. I am Dee Marie. Really excited about this season. We're going to have some phenomenal people on. We're going to have some exciting content. We're going to be in the community and talk about heavy topics as well as some light topics, but all of it we need to talk about. So this month is September, and September is Suicide Prevention Month. And this is definitely a sensitive topic, but I want everyone to really get in so we can tell the truth about suicide. And we have an amazing guest on tonight that is just willing to share some facts, share truth, and even a little bit of her own story. So without further ado, I want to bring in St. Louis's own, who knows everybody, Linda Robinson. Hey, Linda, how are you?
Hey, Dee, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited, and just listen to you do your intro. I'm like, oh, she's amazing.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the podcast. I know I've known you for a while, and just your work in the community is just outstanding. I mean, it is outstanding. You have been doing community work probably your whole life.
Yeah. Yes.
But you could tell that you have a passion for it, and you have a passion for even our city, and just to see things really just progress. And I just really appreciate everything that you do for our city, even in times when I'm like, oh, I'm sick of St. Louis. But somebody has to keep going and, have a love for it so that we can thrive and begin to do some great things. So yeah, so really appreciate you. So tell us about you, Linda.
Well, like you said, I've been in the community 28 plus years, so almost half my life.
Yeah.
Just being a community leader, engaging the community, giving back my time, talent, and treasure as much as I can, and also encouraging others to do the same thing. So, I have a team of volunteers that we volunteer almost at everything has to do St. Louis, and we're still doing it. The pandemic slowed us down, but we're back.
We're back, yes.
Yes, and also just life, life be lifing, and
yes, it does.
God has truly moved me in a direction to talk about certain topics and subjects that was lived experience for me. So that's pretty much me. I'm a mom, a grandmother. So, I love that.
Yeah,
a child of God, and just getting up every day and living life, enjoying life, loving life because of the circumstances that I went through.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate you coming on here. I know that, again, like I said, this is a sensitive subject, and it's hard. These are some hard things to talk about, but it really needs to be talked about, especially I think in our community. I think it's a lot of things get swept under the rug. We don't want to address some certain issues, but we really have to. We really have to. So tell us about, September is Suicide Prevention Month.
Yes. So September, like you said, is Suicide Prevention Month. And I lost someone very close to me to suicide, my brother Mark, who was my best friend. He has his share of ups and downs in life, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, dealing with his mind, which a lot of people didn't know. He didn't put it out there, but he battled his mind on a daily basis. Things happen in life, and uh, I always tell people, don't ask me the why because I don't know.
Right, right,
But I would tell you what his life was about. And I know he dealt with a lot. And sometimes your mind wins, especially when you go into a dark space that there's no return.
mm,
And since then, I have been on a journey to talk about death by suicide, mental health, mental illness, really getting awareness out about suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and suicide tendency. Um, and like I said, since September is Suicide Prevention Month, I really try to be vocal, especially in our community,
right,
because it's still a strong stigma.
right. It is.
Uh, and until you really lived it, you really don't understand that it happened in our community.
Right. Yeah.
And I just wish we would uh, pay more attention to what someone is going through or how they're living. Uh, and if you ever met my brother, he smiled all the time. He was always happy, joking. And it was a shock to a lot of his friends that he decided to take his life.
Mm. And we hear that a lot whenever someone takes their own life, and we hear, "Wow, I never saw that," or "They were always happy." And we hear even like stars. We hear about
Yes,
that, and then we're like, "Well, they were just living their best life,"
yes,
and sometimes I guess it's just internally you really don't know
you
what people
don't.
are going through.
And like someone said that just thinking of Robin Williams,
Hmm.
you know, and
Yes.
that was a shocker even for me when it happened. But just thinking about him, how he made us laugh, he was always smiling and joking. But we don't know what people go through behind closed doors. We don't,
Right.
because we all have a facade that we put on in the
Yes.
public,
Yes.
you know, especially in our upbringing.
Hmm.
My mom was full Korean, so my mom instilled us to be strong, don't show emotions, da 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 da. People can't see your weakness.
Right. Right.
So we always had a front on, but in life, it shows you that it's okay to be human. There's a weak side of you. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say you're dealing with a mental health issue today. It's okay to you're saying you're dealing with a mental illness, and what
Right.
that mental illness is. Until we talk about it, especially in our community, it will always be a stigma. People will be ashamed to talk about it. Even after I started giving snippet of what happened to my brother,
Hmm.
I would have people reach out to me and say, I lost someone too. I
Oh,
lost someone
wow.
close to me, but they don't want to talk about it. And you have to
Right.
respect that
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's not for everyone. It's
Yes.
just like I said, I really felt God pushed me to do it because I was fighting him every step of the way,
Um,
even when I felt my brother that day unresponsive. Um, and we all were at the hospital, and I'm like, look, if anybody asks, he died from a heart attack. That's what we're
mm,
going to say,
mm,
because it was some shame to it. It was like, how am I going to handle this? What I'm going to do? I didn't want to, ruin his reputation. I didn't want
right.
people to think negative. But like a few days, even after the funeral, it's just like things were popping up, and God was showing me things, and I'm like, God, I,
Right.
I can't put that out there. So yeah,
Mm,
it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to lose someone you love, but when they decide to take their own life, it's a different way at looking at death and how to cope afterwards.
mm.
And
I
that
can
was my biggest thing.
I can imagine. I do remember when your brother passed, and I remember thinking to myself, I wonder what happened. But like you said, it really is. When you're comfortable saying,
Yep.
what happened. And I want to go back to what you said when people ask you, well, what happened or why, and you don't have an answer. What would you tell people? Like, because I think sometimes people think they're saying the right things, but sometimes it's like, just just be quiet and just allow people to, to share what they want to share.
Exactly. When someone lose a loved one to death by suicide, the one question, even through all my trainings, is to never ask them how and why.
Mm,
A family member can't answer that. A family
right.
member could tell you, like I did, my brother's symptoms, but I can't tell you what led up to it, the reason behind it, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but people don't know that he attempted suicide on a few occasions before,
Mm,
so it's just a matter of time that they will actually really do it and be successful. So if you really truly care for someone, even when someone loses a loved one, I never ask why anymore.
mm,
To respect
right.
to the family, when
Yeah.
they come out and tell you, let them tell you. But when someone loses someone by death by suicide, respect it. If you know that their loved one took their life, don't don't
Right.
push it. It is a trigger for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I really have to control myself not to respond in a certain way. I
I can
just
understand.
smile and say, I can't answer that. I
Mm,
don't know. And then
mhm.
don't push it, because I had a
Right.
few people who push it because they feel like they needed to know why. I don't know,
Right.
but it triggered me. And we get to a certain point in our life, we don't respond to things like we used to.
Exactly.
Maturity, life alone, we let a lot of things just go.
Yes.
um, but when you come, especially to me, I'm speaking for myself, if you know my brother took his life, don't push it. Just you know let it go, because it is a trigger for me.
Yes, I can imagine. I can only imagine, Linda. And when we're talking even about like death by suicide, you know, I think we also, like you just said, about like mental illness, because I think a lot of times that we, and I honestly, I think it's getting a little bit better because I think people are kind
Mhm,
of talking more about mental illness. But
mhm,
for years we would not even discuss it. It was
mhm.
like, we kind of just knew stuff was going on, but just not say anything.
Anything. Mhm.
Right. And how important is it for us to speak up or maybe even reach out to someone if
Yeah,
we feel like that something is going on?
it is very important, and I tell people all the time, if you feel like you can't make it or you're dealing with something and you need help, I always refer everyone to BHR, behavior health response.
Yes.
Please, I wish I had that information so you could share it, bring it up and share it. And 988, even though the three-digit 988, everyone think is for suicide, but
Uh-huh.
it's for a crisis situation. When
Okay.
you're in a mental crisis, they have licensed therapists to help you, just like BHR. They have licensed therapists. And one thing about BHR, they're open 24/7, 365 days of the year. So if 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you are dealing with something, call them. They
Yes.
are there, and seek a therapist. I seeked a therapist after losing my brother. And to be honest, Dee, that was the best thing I could have ever done for myself, because not only was I able to cope with losing him and understand a little better the why and how to deal with it, but also something about myself.
Mm.
So it just helped me to realize who I am, my
Yeah.
worth and value, and that sometimes we take life for granted, not knowing. But losing my brother to suicide made me just appreciate every minute of my life. So if you don't see me giving my time like I used to, I'm really cautious about what I do now, who I spend it with, and what I let into my life, into my circle. So if I
Mm.
feel like you're not good for my mental health, I I will put you out my circle. I don't care if it's personally or professionally. I can't let you into my circle. And one thing I want to talk about also, like you said, with us, Black and Brown people, we have to listen to our children.
Yeah.
Our children are dealing with a lot. Just remember, and adults too, our adult children, they survived a pandemic and they have not been the same. So I appreciate all the corporation, all the organizations, all the school districts, everyone, the our first responders, everyone who realized that mental health and mental illness is important, that there are self-care days, there is someone to talk to, everyone is pushing the EAPs,
Yes.
giving out resources. Continue to do that because we're living in a world where the stigma is still strong. It's getting better, but we're not there yet.
Right, right.
You
And
know,
I'm glad you said that about the EAP at corporations. And if you work at a place that has EAP, please take advantage of it because
yes,
I believe you get like so many sessions
for
free.
free. Yes,
Yes, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And there are so many circles now where men are having their circles to talk about mental health, mental illness,
Right.
women, children. More of these organizations are incorporating it in there. And even with our school district, they are having counselors there. Our police department are having, CIT training for the
Mm-hmm.
police officers. So it is there, and I'm happy for that. But like you said, we have to come to the point where we are comfortable talking about our mental illness. I'm a facilitator for NAMI STL. I do the
Okay.
family support group.
Mm-hmm.
So these are family who come on every other Monday and they talk about their loved one with a mental health, a mental illness. And
So you
it,
facilitate the group?
yes, I
Oh
facilitate that
no,
group with
Linda, that's
another
awesome.
with another lady. I just completed my training for
That is
American
awesome.
Foundation of Suicide Prevention to be a facilitator on suicide prevention. So I'm working with someone to start that group
Okay.
because you have to go through the training. You have to survive losing your loved one for 2 years or more. So I'm at
Okay.
that point.
Okay.
So, and I'm happy about that. And it's just, those families that come on to that group discussion are very brave,
Yes.
very transparent, and they are just seeking help. And they just need to hear how one another are coping, how they're dealing, what are they dealing with, because it's harder for parents to save their loved ones once they're adults. It's a
Mm,
lot, and they really need the support. So I just push it every chance I get. So I appreciate you for letting me talk about suicide prevention, the awareness, my experience with it. And also, one thing I want to mention is this Sunday at
yes,
Creekport
yes,
Park,
yes.
American Foundation of Suicide Prevention will have their annual walk. If you or a loved one is dealing with mental illness, period, mental health, there will be a lot of resource out there. Every organization will be there. A lot of police departments have signed up for this walk, college students, but mainly if you don't want to walk, just come for the resource,
Just
come
come.
for the
Yes,
information, and,
yes.
and just be in that environment for a day where everyone is supporting one another and walking for a great cause. So I am really looking forward to Sunday and just being there with other families and just celebrating our loved one and a day to recognize them because we are continuing their legacy, their story.
That's
So
right.
I have a semicolon tattoo on my arm in honor of my brother. I'm the one who's going to continue the story and be there for someone else to help them through it.
That's awesome, Linda. When I just say, I mean, just to hear what you're doing is, I mean, you're brave. You said, the families are brave, but your bravery to now, you know what, you've been through this, so let me reach out and help other people. I mean, to me, I think community and support is so important. It's
Yes,
so important. And I
yes,
know there are some people that sometimes, even though they may have family, but unfortunately, sometimes the family is not their support system. So to have a place like NAMI or other places that can help them
yep,
in that is something that is just awesome. It's just phenomenal. So can you talk a little bit about that support and what that looks like and
yeah.
how they benefit from that?
Yeah, so the support is awesome to have because you hit the nail on the head where you said they do not have support from family.
Right.
A
Right.
lot of people don't understand because they're not going through it. So how
Mhm.
can they really help you to understand unless you have a really supportive friend who's a listening ear that could maybe suggest some things for you? That is great. But I have family members that shunned it off. You know, a lot of negative things were said about my brother from family.
Mm.
And these are family members who weren't close.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of things that I just had to like, whatever, you know. Uh, but the family members who were close to him, we were kind of our own support system to try to get through it, to talk about it. You know, my brothers would call me, of course, my daughter and granddaughter, you
Mhm.
know, they would talk and be like, I just don't understand. I just let them talk, you know, and try to help them to get through it. And one thing I tell everybody, stop trying to figure it out. Even I had to tell myself, and my therapist had to tell me, stop trying to figure it out
Mm.
because you're going to put yourself in a deeper depression trying to
Mm.
figure it out, you
Right.
know. And she was like, you're uh God fearing women, you got to trust God on this one. And you have to reach out to those organizations. You have to get out your comfort zone and go to like a NAMI support group, American Foundation support group, a support group at your church or different organization. And if you just come and sit and listen
Mhm.
and you're not ready to talk, we don't force it. You know, until you are ready to talk, you talk. You
Yes.
know, so that's one thing I love about being a facilitator for NAMI. We don't force any of the individuals who come on to talk. What another thing that helped me through, I attended a grief share group. It's called
Oh,
Grief
okay.
Share.
I
So,
know some people that has attended cruise ship.
and
Yeah.
that was the best because it's based off of God's love. They use a lot
Mm.
of the Bible verses to help you through. So one thing, um, believe it or not, a few people have told me that your brother didn't go to heaven because he sinned, taking your life
Right.
sin. But
Yeah.
this grief share group taught me it was not a sin because
Mm.
we at that time we don't know if he repent or not before he
Right.
decide to do this. As long
Yeah.
as he repented to God, God forgive us no matter what.
He does.
You know,
Absolutely.
even when, and they gave another example, even when someone pull a trigger and they cause someone to lose their life, if that person repent before his sentencing, God forgave him, and that's what
Mhm.
mattered. So I think that was another reason why I was able to talk about death by suicide and my brother,
Mhm.
because it was my confirmation that no matter what everyone else think, God forgave him.
Mm.
So I suggest that if it's not a grief share, attend some type of grief group to
Yes.
attend
Yes.
to help you to understand the steps of grief, because there
Yes.
are different steps, and why you have certain emotion, why you going through something, because that's going to be your pathway to your healing. I'm
Mm.
not 100% healed.
Mhm.
um, I have my moments. September is a hard month for me, even though, again, I'm putting on that facade, but it's
Right.
hard. And then October is his anniversary. So, and November is his birthday. So, for the next 3 months, I really have to try to deal with the best way I know how.
Yes.
And just meditating, praying, journaling is my way of self care to get through these past 3 months, um, and just doing the best I can with what I know to get through these days. And I tell everyone that take it day by day. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, if you got to take it minute by minute, do
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. It's okay to be vulnerable. Don't mean you're weak. That's something I had to learn myself because I always been this strong person.
Mhm.
And if I show any sign of weakness, that means I'm weak, but it's not. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I'm not having a good day.
Mhm.
Because guess what? You're not alone.
Right.
And your life matter, your mental health matter just as much as the next person.
This is really, really good, Linda. These are some great, great tips because, you know, I do know people that are even grieving now. And just to hear you say like all these things and that they are valuable and that it's okay sometimes not to be okay,
Yes,
because I think people do try to continue to wear this mask, and I get it. Sometimes you just don't want, everyone asking, are you okay? Or,
right.
you want to talk about it. But you're right. Sometimes it's okay to not be okay. And when you do have that group, I think support groups are so important. I
They
think they're
are.
so important because you have those people with you that can share those experiences. So now you're not
Yes.
thinking, in your head, oh, I'm not the only one who's
Right.
feeling this.
Right. You are not alone.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
tell everyone that's NAMI's slogan. You are not alone. And
Mm,
once they come into the group, they realize I'm not. And then
right.
they're hearing from others who have lived experience and how they're handling it, how they're dealing with it, what resources they are using for their loved one and for
Mhm.
them to
Yes,
cope. So,
yes,
like you said, it's good to go to a support group. And I highly recommend it for everyone
yes.
because you never know when you go what information you're going to get to help you. As you're dealing with someone with a mental illness, even though some people, loved ones, mental illness is more than what I dealt with my brother,
Hmm.
the first thing is I don't want people to know. I don't want to know.
Right,
But once they
right.
start coming to the group, they continue to come until they feel like they're better, that they can handle it. And I might not see a few people for a couple weeks. The next
Hmm.
thing you know, a month later, they pop up because a lot of people, especially around the holidays, is when we really have
Hmm.
a big group because holidays are hard for everyone,
Right.
you know.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
why we had a big group of dealing, try to help them cope and get through it. So, like
yeah,
you said, support groups are amazing. It's okay to take the mask off. I took
yes,
mine off, and
yes.
as I'm talking, you could take it however you want it. I never feel like I'm bragging and I'm the expert. But if someone want to chat with me, I would chat with them to help them to get through.
Yeah.
Because right now, um, someone is contemplating about taking their life.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah. And it could be someone watching this broadcast.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And,
Yeah.
and the one thing I tell people that I wish most organizations or the media do better in is not just showcase it when it's a celebrity. You know,
Oh my gosh, Linda. Exactly.
a celebrity.
Exactly.
Every minute, you best believe someone is contemplating or has taken their life. We need to talk about those statistics. We need to talk about the data, not just during September for suicide prevention or in May for mental health. We
Right.
need to constantly look at data. And that's for all illness. And that's for
Yes.
everything, even what you're doing, a
Yes.
survivor,
Yeah.
you know, it needs to be talked about. Okay, we get a month, but this is happening every day,
Every day,
every day.
every day, yes. And I
And
know sometimes people don't like to talk about these topics because you get on social media. Yeah, we laugh, we joke, but we have to be real too.
yes, thank
And
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
like we really cannot ignore
We
these things that are
cannot.
going on, right? Because it's happening in our families, our
Yes.
friends, just people we meet every day. You
Yeah.
never know, some resource that you might have will help somebody else.
You never know. You
Yes,
never know. And what you said, we get on social media. Yeah, it's okay to laugh and thing or promote our event, but we
right.
still need to talk about those heavy topics. We can't
Yes.
let it die.
Yeah.
If you have an organization like you, that's why I said, you're my shero. I always tell you that
Yeah.
because you're constantly talking about it. And
Yeah.
the more you talk about it, there's a brave soul that's going to reach out to you and say, D,
Yes.
I need to talk to you because guess what? I was sexually assaulted too, or my
Mm-hmm.
child was. It's
Mm-hmm.
that we have to just like you try and promote your event and sell tickets, we got to do that.
Yes.
We have to talk
Absolutely.
about it. And it's a heavy lift, like you said, but the load we get lighter, the more and more we talk about those topics.
Exactly. Exactly. And the more that we can be a mouthpiece and help prevent some of these things that
Yes.
are out here happening, you know?
Yes.
Because we just got to tell the truth about what's going on. Yeah,
Yes.
because you know how we see people every day. Again, we don't know what they're going through. And do you have any like statistics on suicide or anything like that?
No, I do not.
Okay,
I
okay,
wish I would
okay.
have been more prepared for
No, no,
that.
no, no. That's fine. That's fine.
But
Yeah.
actually, if you go to NAMI website,
Mm-hmm.
it's NAMI. That's the national. You could put look at all the data, the
Okay.
statistics. You could go
Yeah.
to American Foundation on Suicide Prevention. They have it. And also another place to look is our Department of Mental Health. Wherever
Okay.
state you're in, those are national organizations. They have national data, and they're always updating it, always providing the statistics. They even breaking it down by demographic,
Oh, good.
so
Okay.
you
Yeah.
can see. And
Yeah.
one thing about the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, their walk, I've noticed since I started 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
that more and more individuals are coming out that are different demographics,
Oh, see, that's
because
good. Yes.
yes, people are starting to talk about it more. They're
Mm-hmm.
not being afraid, and it's good. So that just show you it's not just the Black and Brown community, the
Mm-hmm.
Caucasians community, the Hispanics are coming, the Asians are coming, and of course our LGBTQIA community.
Yes. Yes.
That's big.
Because
That's
it's huge in that community.
Yes.
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
see them, support them, and that's why I said for one day we are all are there supporting and loving each other. I just wish that energy would continue as we go
Right.
back to our neighborhood and just continue it.
Yeah. So the walk this weekend and
Sunday,
or Sunday. Yeah. So tell
yes.
us about where it is and everything.
It's in Creve Coeur Lake Park.
Okay.
They're gonna start everything at 9 o'clock, and about 10 o'clock they will start. The MC would get on, a few people would talk. But one thing about this walk, what I like is from 9 to 2. You could come at any time, 9 to 3. You can come anytime between 9 and 2 and walk. They ask everyone to start
Oh.
walking at 2 so they could be finished by 3. So it's not like you got to be there at a set
And
time.
okay.
And the vendors are out there all day long. The music are out there for you can take your picture. So like with me and my family, I asked them come about 10 o'clock so we can just
Mhm.
get it out the way. By the time we finish, maybe around 12, it's huge. It's big. People are parking like
Wow.
over way across the way and have to come up. So it's a nice event. The weather's gonna be nice,
Yes.
and it's come at your own pace, walk at your own pace, and just enjoy the vibe and the energy for that day, and just see everyone who's out there. A lot of people have their own T-shirts made showing their loved one. Signs are made of the loved ones. It's a beautiful day. And one
That's
thing about
awesome.
it also is that they have a memory wall. So like you can go to the wall and see everyone. Like my brother
Oh,
picture gonna be up there.
wow.
We're gonna have a
Wow.
statement about my brother and just see all the love that day. And it's gonna be a lot of tears.
Oh, yes.
It's a trigger for a lot of family and friends.
Yes.
And
Yes.
also, let me give those families, if you register in time or if you get your name in, some families have picnics out there. So
Oh,
along the
wow.
path, there are
Yeah.
families set up. It's like a little mini reunion. But that memory wall, it's a day of rejoicing, happiness. It's some triggers, it's a lot of tears,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. But at the end of the day, we are walking for a cause to stop the
Yes.
stigma, to bring
Yes.
awareness, educate, and most of all, prevention. And that's what
Yes.
American Foundation of Suicide Prevention is about. I think it's by 2025, they want to make sure that they focus on prevention and they stop a lot of the death by
Yes.
suicide.
Suicide. Yes.
Yes,
Oh, that sounds really amazing, Linda.
it is.
And
So
how awesome that the families are there and even you said like the resources.
the
Um,
resources,
yeah. I
and
mean
that's what
you
I tell everyone. If you do anything else, just come for the resources.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you can talk to individuals. Representatives will be there from the hospitals. Every hospital with a behavioral health unit will be there. Um, Different organizations, mental health organizations, family members set up tables and they're providing information. And this one lady there, oh my gosh, uh, she make angels out of the Bible.
Oh, wow.
And this lady bought me one my first year that I volunteered with American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. And I'm like, what is this? She's like, Linda, it's a Bible. This lady takes a Bible and she make these angels. And I treasure that gift right
Wow.
there.
Now that sounds yeah.
Yes, yes,
Wow. That's
yes. And
awesome.
only
That's
thing she
awesome.
asked for donations, whatever you want to give, and she donate all that money back to American Foundation of Suicide
Oh,
Prevention. So it's a lot of family that does that. They find creative ways to donate back to the
to give
organization.
back. Okay.
Yes.
Now, is there a cost for the walk?
No, registration is free. You can
Oh,
go
okay.
out to the website, afsp.org. Just look for your local chapter, which we
Oh,
are St. Louis.
okay.
It's free. But if you want to raise money, you can.
Okay. Okay.
So, and also they sell t-shirts, maybe the t-shirts, maybe $10, $15. Everything come back to the organization that day.
Oh,
Whatever is
oh,
sold, it comes
awesome.
back.
To the
Yep.
work. Okay. And I know you're raising money as well, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I met my goal,
Oh, you,
$500.
oh, awesome.
So I
Yay.
did that last push. So I'm like, okay, thank you everyone who donated to me, who shared it to make
Yes.
sure I get donation. And you know this from your organization. Sometimes those who donate are people you don't even know
Right.
because they
Exactly.
see a good cause.
Yes, yes.
It's like,
And
okay,
it could be their way of, you never know what they've been
yeah,
through, and their way of,
exactly.
yeah, of like, well,
Yes.
I want to do something, so here,
And
let me.
that's what a few people told me. They like kind of inboxed me, which I don't check much. But they was like, I'm doing this because I lost someone, but it's my way of giving back in honor of
Yes,
someone I loved. And
yeah,
I'm like, that's fine because I understand, you
yeah,
know. And sometimes it's not about the monetary donation. When people share that information, they're sharing to their supporters, their contact, and that's just another way of getting information out about something you're passionate about.
right,
And that's what I
right.
tell people. And they're like, you share so much. I'm like, yeah, this is great information that people are sharing. Why not? It doesn't cost to share.
It doesn't cost anything to share, okay? And when you share, it's you're helping somebody,
You're
you're
helping
supporting a
someone.
cause. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely,
Yes. So
absolutely.
I appreciate everyone who support me during this time, especially raising fund and awareness about suicide prevention. So I appreciate everyone. My heart is full because the support I've been receiving and the prayers, I
Mhm.
appreciate it so much.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because, like I said, for the next 3 months, I need it.
Yes, and we will definitely keep you up in prayer, Linda.
Thank you so
And
much.
prayer is free.
Yes, it
Anybody
is.
can pray. Yes, okay. If you know Jesus, say some prayers for
Say
me
some
today.
prayers, please.
Yeah, yeah,
Me and my family, especially my nieces and nephews,
yeah. Hmm.
this is a difficult time for them.
Okay,
It's a
yeah,
trigger.
yeah.
So I just make sure if I can't do anything else, I could just pray for you.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Linda, this has been so great. The information you shared has just been awesome. And if anybody is watching, and you need like a crisis line or just want to talk to somebody, and okay, so the 988 is just 988. Is it just from your cell phone or is that like from anywhere?
That's from anywhere. That's
Oh, okay,
anywhere. Anywhere.
okay, okay.
988 is a national number. They got rid of that 9 digit that nobody could remember.
Right, right, right. Because I was thinking, I was trying to find it. I'm like, no, I think it's just 988 now.
Yes, it's just
Yeah.
988. Yes, it
Okay.
is.
And it's available 24/7.
Yes, yes. And also behavioral health response.
Yes.
They are St. Louis, BHR for short. Look them up, research them. They are 24/7 also.
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome. Yeah. So
yes.
please don't be afraid to reach out and talk to someone. We really want to encourage if you're even having honestly, just therapy in general,
Just
even if
therapy.
you think you have something going on and you don't,
Uh-huh.
it's good to have a therapy. Just like we go to the doctor for our physical health, it's
Okay.
important to go for our mental health
Yeah.
as well.
Yes. And one
Yeah.
thing I want to say, because a lot of people ask me, and I want to really stress this, if you have a loved one that is in a mental crisis and you have to call the police, please let the police know, or if you dial
Mhm.
911, that your family member suffer from a mental health, is having a mental health crisis or suffer from a mental illness. Let them know what type of mental illness that is. Ask them if a CIT officer can come,
Oh,
or
that's good.
a social worker. A lot of police departments have both. Ask for that,
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
they will be the first one to kind of evaluate it. And if that loved one need to go get help, they will make sure that the EMS show up and take them to a facility to get help.
Oh, that's good, Linda. I didn't
So
even know that.
some
Okay.
people call the police in
Yeah.
distress. So if you're in distress, the police are coming. So
Right.
that's going to make a situation worse if they're
Right.
coming with their sirens on and everything.
Right. Right.
Explain to them the situation. Is very important to explain to the police officer, or even if you ask for an EMS, explain to them the situation so they can be also prepared on how to handle it.
Oh, awesome.
Mhm.
So a lot of them, you said you have like a CIT officer?
Yes,
Okay.
and or a social worker.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and
Okay.
ask
That
for
is great
that.
information. That's
Yes,
great information.
yes.
Okay. So yes, you guys heard that. If you have a family member in a crisis, be sure to let the police know. If you have to call the police and tell them you want a CIT officer or a social worker, right?
Hmm. Yep,
Okay. Okay.
yep.
That is
And
great to
explain
know.
to them the situation so they can be prepared when they show up and how to handle it.
Yes, because we do have to advocate for our loved ones,
Yes,
especially in
you
situations
do.
like that. Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
advocate for your loved one. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of families come on, they call the police officer and the loved one, end up going to jail. They can't really help them
Right.
in jail. They need
Right.
actually to be seen by a doctor.
By a doctor.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. So, is there any other information you'd like to share or
No,
anything?
that's pretty much it. Like I said in the beginning, kind of, show grace and gratitude to those who lost loved ones to
Yeah.
death by suicide. Don't push the how and why, um, and just let them, if they're ready to tell you, they're ready to tell you.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really hard, especially if it's their child. you
Mm,
know a lot of parents, it's hard, it's difficult for them. Losing a child is hard, period, but when their child took their own life, it's harder. And give them grace and gratitude, give them respect. There are boundaries that you cannot cross, and please don't try to push it.
don't try it. I know
Don't
that's
try.
right. Yes, because people do it all the time, and please don't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Give them that respect and give them what they
exactly.
need. Yeah, 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 yeah.
When they're ready, when people are ready, they're ready.
Exactly,
you know
exactly,
Let
exactly.
them do it on their own time, their own terms, and how they want to do it.
Yes, yes. Linda, thank you so much for
No,
coming
thank
on to
you.
talk about it. Thank you for your bravery, for your strength, to get on and talk about your personal experience, and then also to share the information to others who have gone through it or who might go through it. You know, we hope they don't, but you just never know.
Right. You
You just
never
never
know
know.
anymore. You
Yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being on the
You're
podcast.
welcome.
I know this is just going to help so many people, so many people. So I love bringing on people like you or others that are doing things that want to share because we all need this information.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
So
for having me.
thank you. So Sunday, make sure you guys are at Creve Coeur Park anywhere from 9 till
Three,
2
nine
or
to
3, sorry.
three.
Okay, 9 to
Yes.
3. And
Uh-huh.
you guys can walk. It's a free registration. There's tons of resources. And is it at the Tremaine Pavilion? Do you know?
Yes, at the
Okay,
Tremaine
okay,
Pavilion.
okay,
Correct.
okay. That's
Yes.
what I thought because I know a lot of people use that pavilion one when they have walks and everything.
Yes, it
So yeah,
is.
so that's at the Tremaine Pavilion. So you guys make sure you're there. Support Linda. Support the other families that are there. And it sounds like it's going to be an amazing time. I will be there. I will be there, Linda, for sure. For sure.
Yay.
Yes, yes, yes. I love to support. So definitely I will be there.
Thank you
So
so
again,
much.
Linda, thank you so much for all the information. And we will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. See you
All
later.
right.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode, actually our first for this season of Be the Voice podcast. This was so great. Linda shares some great information. So you guys don't just listen, but please take this information and just make sure you share it with anyone that may need it. You just never know who in your family is dealing with mental illness or maybe even thinking about taking their life to suicide. You just want to definitely have this information stored. Be sure to give out the number. Don't be afraid to talk. Let's keep the conversation going. So, you guys, thank you so much for always tuning in to Be the Voice podcast. This was another great episode. We'll be back next week for another amazing, amazing episode. And I'm always excited about what I do. But again, this is Dee Marie, and I will see you guys later.